Yes, sir. DJ Focus. You tap back into the fix, your source of faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry. Just came off a music break. Listen, still got the super talented sisters, who are favored on the line with us right now. Something I want to ask you before we talk about all the dope music you do. If you guys could be real for a second and have a transparent moment, talk about some struggles of being a kingdom lady, one, and two, everything that comes with that. You guys are, in the business of music industry. I'm pretty sure, you guys are kind of courting and waiting for God to send y'all a husband, like balancing church. Like, talk about just everything that goes into a day-to-day life and how you guys operate and keep yourself and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say, I mean, it definitely is a struggle when you're trying to do it on your own. You will fail if you're trying to uphold these laws that no longer exist. Like, we're under a new covenant, we're under grace. So, it's really with his grace alone that I'm able to, stay holy, stay righteous. And it's nothing that you force. And I remember for a while, I was always trying to struggle with, okay, how do I walk uprightly? How do I behave like a Christian? Like, we're God's children. Like, it shouldn't be that difficult. We are holy because he is holy. But as I mentioned, it is a definite struggle to uphold these things when you're trying to do it, on your, with your own will, because the flesh is weak. Let's be for real. And I think industry, it's finding that balance. It's like, as hip hop artists, especially, in the rap culture in general, you have, one side where, females are not dressed, they're practically naked. And then you have, on a different spectrum, other female rappers who, are dressing like the guys. So it's like being kingdom females, female rappers, finding that gaining our posture in this industry, in this music industry, and knowing, how to just be us, be holy, be righteous, without forcing it. We don't dress with white collars and, our dresses all the way down to our ankles, but we know who we are, so it's just about being your authentic self in Christ. I don't know if you can see, I'm like wearing one long earring and one short earring. Like, that's my style. I go to church like that, and I go to Kojic, like a Church of God in Christ type of church. I'm dressing like I'm at like a transformation church, to be real, but it's about knowing who you are, and knowing that you're loved by God. Be authentic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would have to say that for sure. I think it comes down to, being unapologetically Christian, and knowing that, you have every right to. And I think that, a lot of times, people want to change your perception based off of their experiences, or they'll project on you what they've gone through. And I think that, you just have to know who you are, and you have to know who God says you are. And I had to learn that, you have to know that, you don't have to change your boundaries for anyone else. And that's how I like to live my life. At the end of the day, I'm living for God and to bring glory to his kingdom. So if something doesn't fit along those lines, or, being with this person or doing this thing, doesn't align with that, then it doesn't make sense for me. So I try to look at things with a biblical worldview, and to know that, that's the way that I'm going to live my life. And that's helped me. And even knowing, like, in the industry, like, you're not forced to do anything you don't want to do. Like, if someone's presenting something to you and it doesn't fit what you want, do you compromise yourself to be able to make it, or do you actually stay true to who you are and run that race? And if it takes a little bit longer, but you've maintained your integrity, I think that says a lot about who you are. and trust and believe that God, he sees that, and he's not going to allow you to fail.